Hey, you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the great state of Texas, more specifically Austin, Texas. And one of the famed slogans to come out of Austin, Texas is keep Austin weird. And we are here in front of the focal center point of weirdness here in Austin, the Museum of the Weird. Now, I have been here before, but it has been quite a few years since I've been to the Museum of the Weird. So definitely a very amazing place, a great museum of oddities and strange things. And I figure since we're back here in Texas, we should definitely take the time to stop back in and revisit the Museum of the Weird. So please follow me. The Museum of the Weird, let's see what it promises. Fiji Mermaids, Bigfoot, the Creature in the Ice, and the Monster Wax Museum. It's like everything I love under one roof. We enter through the gift shop here. The recreation of Audrey 2 right there. My all-time favorite movie is Little Shop of Horrors. See what these signs promise. Giant lizards, cabinet of curiosities. Have the Swami here for 50 cents.
This Swami here is such a command. Today is a lucky day, for I have a bit of wisdom especially for you. Listen closely. A closed mouth gathers no fruit. Oh yes, my friend. It is much better to say little than to say much and regret it later, you know.
You get a custom Museum of the Weird fortune here. Look at some of the banners here. Fiji Mermaid, Freaks of Nature, Shrunken Heads, Egyptian Mummy. And look here, we got a full-sized Sasquatch. World famous Siamese Twins, Chang and Ang Bunker. I've actually been to their grave outside of Mount Airy, North Carolina. See the wax figures there. They're only connected by a very small band of flesh, but still no surgeon in the world wanted to try to separate though. Check out this centaur bandit here, causing a big old explosion back there. Here's the man himself, P.T. Barnum, one of the most influential men in freak and oddity history. It's the banner for his Fiji Mermaid. You can see a beautiful, it promised that you'd see a beautiful mermaid, but when you came in, this is what you saw. Oh, the classic Fiji Mermaid. I like this one here. It's got like chicken hands. 6-year collection of fingernails and toenail clippings. Oh wow. Look, that is only 6 years from one person. That is we create an incredible and disgusting amount of toenails and fingernails in 6 years. Some wonderful displays on some different sideshow acts. It's a bed of nails, a half man, half woman, world's strongest man, a woman boxing a rooster with teeth. It's the vicious piranha there. And then up here, the trigger finger of famous Mexican bandit Pancho Villa. And here we have Jojo, the dog-faced boy. His face is indeed very dog-like. Look at that human scalp right there, taken from a man's head. See the man there with his scalp removed. The world's heaviest roach. You can see that actually is indeed a very thick, very beefy roach. If you look very closely there, you can see some fossilized fairies. Some of the classic legendary creatures here, the fur-bearing trout and a jackalope. You can see this jackalope, half rabbit, half antelope. It's a collection of shrunken heads from the Javaro Indians in South America. These are called sansas. It's actually, they would take the head of their enemy, shrink it down. They take the skull out first, then shrink it down. It was said to give power to them over the enemy's family. This is a Peruvian elongated skull. They would wrap their heads to change the actual shape of their head and their skull. And an ancient trepanated skull, people used to cut holes in their skulls just because they thought they needed to give their brain a little more room to stretch out and breathe. In memory of our beloved pet Scruffy. Oh, check out Scruffy there. Here we have the Mummy of Guanajuato. Oh my goodness. Some amazing things here in this cabinet. We've got a human cyclops skull. And up there, is that one of the puppets from Puppet Master, I believe? And next to it, there's another Fiji Mermaid. Wonderful specimen. Down here, the Hand of Glory. There's a whole process to making a Hand of Glory, but it starts with the hand of a thief. You do several ritualistic things to it, and then it turns into kind of a charm that turns you into the world's greatest thief. I think it allows you to open any door and maybe turn invisible. I forget all the rules. See a pickled punk in that jar there. Now this box here says, note to employees, never ever open this box. So there's probably some bad things hidden in there. And yeah, look at that. That is a sea devil, legendary creature. Collection of oddities. The hyena head there. It's a display on the Texas Bigfoot here. I've got all these different casts from different Bigfoot findings. See some photos there. I've heard of the Cripplefoot cast before. And so, okay, here is, many people believe that Bigfoot is actually Gigantopithecus, an ancient giant ape. There's his big skull there. That's a normal human skull and a normal gorilla skull. There's the Patterson-Gimlin casts. These are from the classic Bigfoot sighting, the most famous Bigfoot sighting, the Patterson-Gimlin footage. Strange saga of the Yeti hand of Pangbach. I've heard of this. The Yeti hand was actually smuggled back to the United States by Jimmy Stewart, of all people, you know, from like It's a Wonderful Life. See that hand right there? There it is. Gigantopithecus, aka Bigfoot, aka Sasquatch. We have a recreation of the Elephant Man, Joseph Merrick. Often he's referred to as John in some works, but his name is actually Joseph Merrick. Has one of the very, very fascinating life story, very, very sad life story, obviously, but just a tremendous life. The Aurora, Texas UFO crash of 1897. He says Cowboys and Aliens. This is a really fascinating story. Allegedly in 1897, a spaceship crashed, and they used a lot of really strange language in the descriptions that kind of match up with today's view of aliens. I've actually been to this grave. They allegedly buried the alien in a cemetery in Texas. Been there and been to the grave. No one knows what is actually buried there in the ground, if it is some sort of space alien. I think this is a artistic interpretation of what may be buried at that cemetery in Aurora, Texas. A 3,000-year-old mummy. So it's going to be the remains of a royal pharaoh. Oh, let's take a look. Do you think that is a royal pharaoh? From the comment section recently, I learned that King Tut actually not buried in a pyramid, buried in a non-pyramid tomb. Plenty of people corrected me and let me know that. Not 100% sure what that is right there, but pretty scary, pretty spooky looking. Up here you see a two-headed, or rather two-faced cow. Got some very curly hair as well. It's an exhibit on the Cottingley fairies, where two girls made fake fairy pictures, two little girls, and everyone believed them, including Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the writer of Sherlock Holmes. And this is actually pretty amazing. They actually have, you can push this button, and you can see they have one of the original photos, the original contact prints of the fairies. You can see the little girl there with the fairies in front of her. So that's a real photo taken from the original negative. That's amazing. It says, a voodoo witch doctor in Haiti built this concrete sculpture to scare people off his property. Oh man, I bet it worked. This is crazy right here, the Betts Mystery Sphere. I've never heard of this before. But it says in 1974, a family found this perfect sphere in the woods. It said that when it rolls, it'll suddenly change direction and makes a strange humming noise when it's rolled. So no scientific explanation. So strange. Some movie props here. This is a prop from Tales from the Dark Side. I remember this in the story. The man, spoiler alert, this movie came out decades ago, so hopefully it's not too much of a spoiler, but a man gets attacked by this gargoyle-like creature. The creature makes him promise that he'll never tell anyone, and then later he marries a woman, has kids with her, and then finally tells her about the strange encounter he had with the gargoyle. Turns out his wife was the gargoyle all along, and she murders him. And also down here we have a critter. Some people know maybe one of my favorite movies of all time, Gremlins. You see this gremlin puppet here. From the look of the gremlin, I'd say this was probably from Gremlins 2. But yeah, look at that. Oh, what a great movie. It's a very spooky skeleton right there. Cabinet here. We have a plastinated octopus there, and a plastinated frog. That is a process used to turn organic matter into plastic. Been to the body, real bodies exhibit where they actually do that to human beings. And then the head of Jeremy Bentham. I think he was a professor who had himself taxidermied at a museum in England. It's a man-faced fish. And a flesh-eating toad from Madagascar. Some more good stuff here. Two-headed articulated skeleton of a baby. It's an ostrich egg. We got another shrunken head. I don't know, that almost looks like the hand of the creature from the Black Lagoon. There is a stone baby. Talks about how this will actually occur when a pregnant woman's unborn child will actually turn to stone and never be born. Usually, I guess they stay in your body until you die. So who knows? If you are a female, you may have a stone baby inside you right now. In this box, there's a piece of work by Homer Tate, the famed gaff artist. Gaffs are like fake sideshow exhibits. You can see he made that little figure down there that would, these figures would be featured in like traveling carnivals or roadside museums. Most famously, he created the Thing in Arizona and Jake the Alligator Man in Washington. And actually, the largest collection of Homer Tate artifacts is actually at the Grave Face Museum in Savannah, Georgia. It's real fascinating stuff. Now here's the crowning jewel of the Museum of the Weird. The creature in the ice, also known as the Minnesota Iceman. A missing link like find. A caveman or missing link type creature. It's actually frozen right there in the ice in that refrigerated coffin right there. Now they ask that we do not videotape or show this. This is the one item in the museum you cannot photograph or video, so we will respect that. But yeah, I took a look at that. Very, very fascinating. Some more Sasquatch related items in here. They have items from the Beast of Boggy Creek, piece of a screen door, seen in the Legend of Boggy Creek movie, some swamp water from Boggy Creek, some chupacabra footprints from the famed goat sucker, the two different styles of chupacabra, the Texas chupacabra, which looks more like a dog, and the Puerto Rican chupacabra, looks more like a space alien. Now, normally they do live sideshows in here, but because of the pandemic and current health regulations, they cannot do that. So apparently they've opened up another exhibit upstairs. What is this right here? Oh my goodness. This exhibit here is like a horror-based wax museum. There is Nosferatu right there, the original vampire. The face from Trip to the Moon, that classic visual of the horrifying moon face. Here we have the Hunchback of Notre Dame. It says this is starring Lon Chaney as Quasimodo. The Phantom of the Opera. This is Lon Chaney as well as the Phantom. You can see his mask has been removed to reveal his horrifying face. Another figure of Lon Chaney as the man in the beaver hat from London After Midnight. My understanding, you see that he played all these different roles. My understanding is that Lon Chaney actually could do his own makeup, which is one of the reasons why he played all these monsters. We have Boris Karloff as Frankenstein from 1931's Frankenstein. Here we have King Kong. See his giant hand there. He can hold a beautiful woman. We see Bela Lugosi sucking the blood of a young woman from Dracula. Over the doorway here we have Mr. Hyde from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Movie Freaks from 1932 actually featured real sideshow performers. This is Prince Randian, the living torso. He has one scene in the movie, or one major scene. I think he appears throughout the movie, but in the major scene, they just cut away to him rolling and lighting a cigarette without any arms or legs. Now, this is another version of Frankenstein, the Christopher Lee version of Frankenstein from the Hammer film series. And then next to him is Professor Henry Gerard from House of Wax. You can see the melty face there. Above us we have the Wolfman. That is Lon Chaney Jr., the son of the other Lon Chaney, who starred in so many different horror movies. And what I think is one of the coolest horror monsters, the creature from the Black Lagoon. Such a cool design that he has. Now this is from a movie called This Island Earth. This is the Metaluna Mutant. It's a peep show here. It says look into one of the peepholes. So we have this door here. Let's hopefully there's nothing inappropriate. Oh, it's a creepy miniature mummy. There's a Zoltan. It says press the button to have your fortune told. Let's see what. Oh, there he goes. Ah! That's a creepy skull. A bust of Edward Mordrake, said to be a nobleman in England, and one of his distinguishing characteristic was that he had a second, more evil face on the back of his head. Look, it's even got horns. Yeah, legend has it that the face would whisper to him, and its whispers drove him to madness. What do you guys think? How would you feel about having a head on the back of your head that whispered creepy things to you? Do you think that would be unsettling? This says that Johnny Depp lived in this building in the early 1990s when he was filming What's Eating Gilbert Grape. It says this room that we're in right now was the kitchen in Johnny Depp's apartment. Wow, and to pay homage to Johnny Depp, they have this custom wax sculpture of Edward Scissorhand, one of my absolute favorite movies. There's a lot of things from my favorite movies in this museum. It says this was created by an artist known as Carla Yates, who makes these one-of-a-kind sculptures. That's really amazing. This is Gingy here, a Fiji mermaid. Of course, Fiji mermaids were created by combining half of a fish with half of a monkey. There's a very clear mixture of the two right there. Have the devil face entrance right there, as well as this very dapper looking creature right here. I think that might be a fox. And then down underneath the fox we have a snow globe. This is from Obscura, an oddity shop in New York. They actually filmed the TV show Oddities there. Does anyone remember that show? I loved it. It says that this is a taxidermied, unidentified creature found in the Amazon rainforest in 1907. It says Mr. Big Mouth swallows everything. Yeah, I'm not putting anything in there.
She accepted.
We have a bearded lady. Some oddities in here, some creepy masks. Here's a long-snouted turtle. There's a face resembling a gar. And look at that, turtle boy. It says almost alive. Some delightful real-life freaks in this case right here. There's a two-bodied lamb, like a Siamese lamb that was born connected. Look at this cow right here. This three-eyed, two-faced cow. You can see in that hole there's two distinct mouths. A very fascinating oddity. On this side we can see another two-faced cow, and then a cyclops pig, a little piglet born with one eye. Some jars of fun with some two-faced pigs, and a real two-headed chicken. Oh, it says, could it be real, or is it a gap? What do you guys think? Leave a comment if you think the two-headed chicken is real. We have mysteries of the deep in this case, but it says to go up the stairs to view these from above. The oddities of the deep. Oh, another beautiful Fiji mermaid. I'm like totally obsessed with Fiji mermaids. I always have been. We have some lovely examples in this museum. We have giant lobster claws there. Some piranha. Oh, a sea devil. You know, this is like the underside of a ray or something modified to make it appear like it is a monster. Also, it's sometimes called a Jenny Hanover for some reason. And this would be my worst nightmare, to have this swimming up. A baboon fish, half baboon. There's a man-eating piranha, and over here, a woman-eating piranha. Apparently they're gender-specific. Just a few doors down from the Museum of the Weird, we have the Jackalope, the Jackalope themed bar. It looks like it is currently closed, but I think if you gaze in there, you can see there is a giant jackalope in the middle of the bar. And then just two doors down from the Jackalope bar is a Chupacabra themed bar. So two cryptid themed bars right next to the Museum of the Weird. If you look in the window, you can see they do have a Chupacabra. So thank you for joining me here today in Austin, Texas, as we visited the Museum of the Weird, one of the coolest oddities museums in the entire country. Definitely recommend it to anyone traveling through the great state of Texas. If you like these videos, please subscribe. You can see new videos as they come out regularly. If you want to look back at some of my older videos, I've been traveling for just many years, been to all 48 continental United States, and have visited roadside attractions, museums, haunted houses and amusement parks in all of them. If you'd like to support the channel other ways, consider donating to Patreon. $3 or more will get you a postcard once a month. Also selling pins in the Etsy shop. Until next time, this one's in the bag.